Kia ora, it's Poppy here from Aotearoa, commonly known as New Zealand, and I'm talking today about the current Mayan energies and more importantly solutions to what we are going through globally as a people. People matter a lot to the earth, and I have a very strong connection with her. I can feel her tingles coming up through me just as I say that. And she has been talking to me for quite some time and keen for me to relay the messages that I pick up through her, through my connection with her and with meditation. I have been meditating with her daily since the end of 2015, and I've got to know her quite well. And in getting to know her quite well, I've got to know myself quite well, because we are nature, we are shared consciousness. So if we really, really know her, then we will also come to really, really know ourselves. And it's been a big journey. Okay, so for a long time I was probably more spiritually connected with her and not so much physically grounded with her. But most of humanity isn't actually physically grounded with her, because when we're a baby, okay, we're just pure. You'll notice that a baby breathes through the whole of its being. It breathes into its creation center, which is what is just, the area just below the belly button, all through there and out to the back. That's where we actually connect with Papatuanuku in our body. And we've been given a physical body, we've been given this vessel to actually be the change and to find our way. And so it's actually really, really important that we have that physical grounding and that we get the energy flowing through our whole being, but that we are very, very grounded and rooted into the earth so that we can actually do and be and live our purpose. So today is the day of 12 Road, and it's within a 9-day cycle within the 9th wave of 10 Earth. So the 9th wave night is night 108, and then when we went down to the base of the time wave, then that starts a new 9-day phase, and that was in the energy of 6 death. So that's a flow of death, a flow of surrender, a flow of letting go, a flow of dropping those parts of us that block us from being rebirth or reborn into this new paradigm that we're seeking to create together. And we're trying to find our way out of this matrix reality, which has got apparently very dangerous to a lot of people, but actually it's all on track. It is actually part of the divine path. And if we do become grounded with the earth, and that we have the complete channel of flow through our physicality, then we also are connected with our soul, and then we will also be connected with our purpose. If we're not connected with Papatuanuku, who is Mother Earth, we can really come from our spirituality, but unfortunately, if it's not grounded, we will be picking up all sorts of things, like from ancestors, from energies and things which may not actually be in alignment with the perfect will of the divine will of the Creator. So it's really important that we come fully into our physicality, and I have been learning how to do that. It's come to me in my life. It's been my purpose here is to help the earth to break free from the matrix controls of the overlays that have harnessed her and harnessed humanity. And so I have to do that to myself as well, because we share our consciousness and we all go on these parallel journeys, each of us taking a part of the earth's consciousness, or being a part of the earth's consciousness, and responsible for coming into her desire and a dream for balance and harmony. So if we're not physically connected very, very strongly in the bottom 3 chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus, then we are not actually connecting with nature. We are not connecting with ourselves, because we are nature, and that's important. So when people are not, they may not know their purpose, they may be afraid of their purpose, and even if they feel that they have some sense of their purpose, if they're not really connected, they will listen to other energies, other things. Now, then I've got an example. Okay, so we have ancestors, we have relatives. Now, some people, that they think that when you hear from that spirit, or you hear, then you obey that. Well, when my mother was passing over, and she, through her family line, satanic ritual abuse came into my life. But when she was passing over, and I'd done all the work I could to forgive her part, you know, she played a role, and to forgive that, to forgive myself, to forgive the past, and forgive that trauma. I was singing her to the gate. I was singing her to Heaven's Gate. I loved her. I wanted her to have a safe and secure journey over to Heaven's Gate. And what I saw there was my relatives, my father, my auntie, my uncle who had recently passed away, my grandfather, and there were other relatives there, and they were beckoning me. Now, they were, what I saw, because of the way that I see, is that my mother passed through a gateway, which was the gateway of Nibiru. Okay, so there's a second sun that goes around, and souls that have come to play certain roles may go through that portal of Nibiru, as I see it. And then when other souls die, they may go through the sun portal and return back to the stars from where they came, or whatever it is. Now, if I had listened and to my ancestors, my relatives, and just gone through there, I would have gone back into a very stuck place. So that's just sort of an example of why we have to be careful about what beings, what entities we listen to, and why I keep my connection very firmly between the earth and the sky. And that, to me, they are the source energies of creation. They are the creator energy. I know that when I'm connected with the sky, I'm connected with the cosmic pulse of time that the Mayan calendar shows and teaches through. When I'm connected with the earth, I'm connected with nature. And so I can actually be more true to my purpose. And it's a miracle I'm alive and speaking today. But I've had to really tune into nature and creation in order to stay alive. So if we don't follow our purpose, or if we're aware of our purpose and we want it, but we're not connected physically in those lower chakras, more just all spiritually up here, which trauma can shock us and put us out there, then instead of going to our purpose, we might try to do what we want, or what we feel we want, or we go back into our addictions, because we don't have the ability to know ourselves and know the earth. You know, we're here to know nature. We are nature, okay? In nature, we have immunity. We have immunity, a natural immune system, okay? So there's a big push at the moment. And these are players. They're players in a play. Anything to pull us away from our true self. Okay, if we're getting pulled away from our true self, we're getting pulled away from nature's ways. Now, if we have been pulled away from nature's ways, don't worry, because we can return. So don't be fearful. If you realize that something you've done, we can get back, and, you know, like I'm working with others now to try to find the way that people can return if they've dabbled with, you know, things that are not natural, like immunizations. And just pardon the background, I'm living in a little bit of a community spot here, and other people are busy doing their work. So tune into nature, tune into yourself. Okay, so that's really important. So the Day of Road is about being in our destiny path, being, you know, it's about finding our path and finding our purpose. Now, I talked to a really beautiful friend last night, and she was so thrilled with herself because she suddenly felt like she was on her purpose and all of life was opening up to her, things were coming into place. So when we have a purpose and we have a goal, then we bring into life the experiences that we need. They will come into our life to give us the experiences that we need so that we can actually live that purpose. And so I got to see that in her yesterday, and I could celebrate and just be so happy and thrilled with her last night at that growth. And she's also really, really dedicated and committed to being very connected with the earth, and so open and beautiful. She really wants to be connected with Ranganui and Papatuanuku, just like I do, you know, and it's so important. Now, I've just been on a training with Korean Masters, and I've been blown away actually, because I've met the person who started this way where humanity can come back to themselves, find their true selves, go into their true purpose. And what I have seen is that he is choosing the ways of nature. He speaks of the ways of nature. It's just so similar to what I've been writing about and what I've been discovering in my connection with her. And that, you know, I've been invited to work with him. Now, he's quite a famous man, and he's come up against really huge challenges where legislative things have been thrown at him to try and take him off his path. And I have seen him, and I see him handle it with grace, because he loves everyone and everything. And that's what we have to do. Jacinda Ardern, she's the Prime Minister of this country. She has a role and she has a purpose. And, you know, people hate her. And I haven't condoned what's happening in the slightest or anything, but then I don't see the full picture. I see consciousness. Earth is a great big consciousness, knowledge, being, just like our bodies are. We have everything inside of ourselves. All knowledge is on our DNA. It's all here. And so we are the same. We are the same as nature. Now, this beautiful man, was when I had heard him talk, I heard and felt him going to the core of Papatuanuku, Mother Earth, and bringing back that knowledge, because he's so connected. And he has had an incredible revelation. He had what we would call enlightenment, and that's when we actually do have the full grounding in our being, that we do actually return fully to nature, and that we are connected with the heavens through the heavens gate. And what I found really amazing is that it doesn't, you know, that enlightenment, it's not like seen as everyone has to have this now. He's not like a guru. He's not taking energy from us. In fact, he's become so clear that he actually freely gives energy to those that are still finding their way and needing it, and needing that energy to try and find themselves. And I'm really, really happy to work with him, and I'm really, really happy to carry on the good work that he does, because I've actually come to see that what he is teaching is what I was missing in my life. So I didn't have the grounding. Trauma threw me out of my lower chakras in my body, and I have been able to safely connect. And so that now I'm not just getting my information through meditation and connecting to Papatuanuku, but I'm actually getting it from my physical being and my physical practice. Now, everyone around us is here to support our growth and development, to help us to learn and grow. Everyone's a player. Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, is a player. She's giving everybody an opportunity to come into their true self, or not, whatever is decided. Now, there's a lot of people that also hate President Trump. But, you know, what if he was actually here to help the matrix system to implode on itself? That's how I've seen his role. So he's a player in a play, and he's also a soul, and so is Jacinda Ardern. They're also a soul. Now, the human soul is 100% valuable. Our problem is when we start to judge things, and we judge and then we hate. If we judge and then we hate, we're judging, we're hating ourselves. So when we are connected with nature, everything is like pure observation. Okay? We actually can love everyone and everything. And I found it really beautiful when this Grandmaster, and I'm going to give you his name soon because there's been a lot of assumptions made against him, which I've discovered are not true. But when this Grandmaster was challenged and robbed and taken from, he gave nothing back but love. And not in a sacrificial way, because he held his energy. Okay, he's kept his energy intact. He's remembered his purpose. So his personal enlightenment has been something that is here for others. And I am seeing that we will. This is a way, and there are other ways I've investigated lots of ways of how we return back to nature. But this is a way where this man has a lot of influence on the political arena by loving it. Not, his way is different. It will be different because it's about equality, where no one is marginalised, and that there's a collaboration on how we move forward with the blessing and love of nature, because we are that. Okay, so I had a really interesting experience today, because I see now where my judgment hurts me and trips me up and hurts others and trips, and whether they trip up or not is up to them. But because we're all here giving each other experiences and opportunities to be who we are, and to actually ultimately live our purpose for the highest good of creation. But I had to get a letter today from a doctor just so that I could get a little bit more financial assistance to live. In this time, I've been very, very ill. I've had to deal with a lot of cancer and artificial intelligence stuff in my body, which has had to be cleared. And so I approached the hospital, and, I go there, and the staff are dressed like morticians. That's kind of how it struck me in my little judgment for the moment. And it's like, I felt really daunted. And then we're all lining up 2 meters apart, even though we're still in only level 2 here. But, they're all lining up, actually doing their best to stay out of lockdown, which is very interesting. That's quite a change. Okay, so we're all lining up and waiting to go past the nurse who's asking the questions, and they've got the gun that reads your temperature. Now, I know about the technology of that, and I've worked very, very hard to clear my pineal gland and to be a clear channel. So I didn't consent to having that put against my head. Now, if I had hated on the staff and ranted and raved, it would have just caused a scene, and it wouldn't have been helpful for anyone. The nurses and everyone, they've got a job to do, they've got a role to do, and they're under a heck of a lot of pressure. I mean, I'm not saying everything, I'm coming from a place of observation. I'm not trying to come from a place of what's right and wrong. I mean, a little bit like I was getting my energy sorted before I went to the hospital. I had my prayers and everything, because I do find it quite daunting, because I don't want and consent to the vaccinations. I don't consent to the PCR tests, and I don't consent to having the heat gun put on my head. And I thought, gosh, I've got to get past that. And I had to get through I walked the back way through the hospital, which was through the, where people were getting vaccinated. And that's their choice. I wasn't going to go and say, hey, don't get vaccinated, because that's their choice. And, it was a little bit daunting for me, but only because I had judgment. And then the man that was ahead of me was telling me how he'd felt so much pressure. He didn't want to take the vaccination, but he'd felt so much pressure from people and had so much abuse from people that said, you've got to get that vaccine, that he kind of relented. And I said to him, oh, you poor thing, I'm sorry to hear that. And but again, that was his choice, because we can also give in to peer pressure. We can do whatever we can. For me, my connection with Papatūānuku, my connection with nature, which has saved my life from so many illnesses, so many sicknesses, is to not. And that's my choice. So I can only go with my choice. I can't, it's not up to me what other people do. I mean, there's certain people I love, and I have said, begged them, please don't take the vaccination, talk to me first, things like that, because I love people. And I understand what's in that vaccination. But I also see really amazing people who've taken the vaccination, and that there is a way of staying in that connection, but that you have to be nature and know nature, even though it doesn't quite add up to me that if you really knew you were nature, that you wouldn't choose something that wasn't nature. But there's different reasons why people do it, and it's not my business why people do it or why they don't. Anyway, the nurse who was at the door, when I said to her that I didn't consent to having the heat gun to take my temperature on my head, I said, could I please just have my temperature taken the regular way with a thermometer? And she said, yeah, okay, just sit here and I'll get a nurse. And anyway, then she came back out. She said, oh, if you just wait in this area, the doctor will come out and she'll see you soon. So I sat there and I just practiced my Spanish lessons for a little while I waited, and I felt calm. And she came, and she's a really lovely doctor, this one, and she's actually very spiritually aware as well. And I'm glad that she's there at that hospital, because I was valued. I was valued for my choices today. I was valued for my decision. And I came away from the hospital with so much gratitude, and feeling the love and protection of the earth, and that it was all done, that it's actually been a beautiful, humbling experience for me. So I just wanted to share that, because there's something about us staying in integrity with nature that keeps us safe, and it doesn't, and there was no, it was unifying. There wasn't any dualistic thing. It wasn't us and them and anything like that. There was a place within that scenario where everyone was honoured, and I'm really, really grateful. So I love everybody. I'm going to teach a lot more about how we can be physically connected as I get more experience, and that I am in full support of this way ahead. Now, the man I'm talking about is called Ilchi Lee, and he's a Korean grandmaster who sees each and every one of us in equality, as an equal soul to him. And he has personally given love and blessing to me, and I support his work. I will go with it because I'm actually going with myself. I'm going with my connection with nature. I'm going with my knowledge, which is being spoken through another human being in its same way, because it is a direct connection with the earth that it's coming from. So I just want to encourage you and myself and everyone, that we need to drop judgment. And I hope that maybe I've explained something today that might be inspiring for everybody, because it's not easy. From the time that we were a baby, we went to school, we were trained to be into our heads and not in our bodies. We were, and this was actually something, we have to take responsibility that our consciousness also created this experience, so that we can become masters of it and pass through this time. And as we come and really, really connect into nature, we will find our way, and we will find unity. And this is what the waves of consciousness that are being emitted from the cosmic axis through the Sky Father's heartbeat right now. There's only one divine time, and if we're connecting with the earth foundationally first, just like a baby learns to walk, learns to use its body, and then it comes into its heart and it's naturally sharing love. They just naturally sharing love, and then we come through, we find our voice, sing our song. We all have a separate song. We all have our own song. We sing our own song. And mine's just been coming out super, super loud, and I'm like really quite blown away. But it's because I've been working really, really hard on myself and my personal growth and my personal development and my connection with nature. And I encourage everybody that wants to, like, be nature. So the baby may not have had that full, well, they maybe do have that full enlightenment, but they're pure observers. They're not taught to judge, to calculate, and do all of these things, in the natural ways. And also that Ilchili is very keen to see every country return back to its ancient roots. Korea went through occupations and atrocities and horrors, and he's helped in his country to revive the ancient knowledge, even though there was a lot of pressure on him, because he is nature and he believed in that. He has actually been able to do it with amazing guidance. And so I support nature. I support our likeness, our kindred spirit, in the wish of unity and for balance and harmony. We find it first within ourselves, within our bodies. That's reflected within the earth. We all hold a part of the consciousness of the earth. And as we tune in and become one with her, that is how we will find our way into unity. So much love to you. Sing your own song. And I'm just going to sing a little song as a little blessing to finish this talk. Kia loro salya kaindu shasilya rumpai o kuilam veiru shayla sawaidui kulambai shayo yandiru sura kiandelia stand yarn. So much love to you. Blessings.